If you've ever asked yourself, I live with my family, but why do I still feel lonely? And why is practicing listening, reading, and speaking English so hard? Then this video is a mirror reflecting your very heart. Pain point. Imagine this. You live with your family, you sit at the same table, you share the same house, but somehow you still feel alone. Learning English can feel exactly the same. You open a video, you listen carefully, but the words slide away like water. You try to read, but after 2 or 3 sentences your eyes lose focus. And when someone asks you to speak, your heart beats too fast, your mouth turns dry, and your voice disappears. You are not stupid. You are not lazy. You are just human. Your brain hates failure, so it tells you, stop. Don't try. Better to feel safe than to feel stupid. Psychologists call this fear of failure, but for you it just feels like pain. Maybe you know this moment. You start a Netflix show in English. You read the subtitles, but your ears catch nothing. You try to repeat a line, but it sounds strange, like ice stuck in your mouth. You don't laugh, you get angry. You close the laptop and whisper, maybe English is not for me. But here is the truth, everyone feels this. Even people who now speak English fluently once felt lost, nervous, and ashamed. The only difference? They decided to continue, and that's why we are here. This video is not about shouting, work harder, or giving you another boring grammar list. It is about something deeper, the idea that being together is not enough. Just like in family life, just living under one roof does not mean you feel close. In English learning, just sitting in front of a book or video does not mean you connect with the language. Today, we will follow a simple Danish story. A family who lives together, but feels apart. And how practicing English slowly, clearly, and kindly helps them to reconnect with language and with each other. Why practice feels impossible. Your brain is strange. It loves to watch 10 funny cat videos in a row, but it hates to listen to one slow English sentence. Why? Because learning feels like work, and work feels heavy. Scientists say the brain always looks for comfort. If something feels hard, the brain gives you excuses. You are too old. You are too busy. You are not good with languages. These excuses are like little lies your brain tells to protect you from discomfort. But the lies slowly kill your progress. Think about the gym. The first time you lift a weight, your arms hurt. Your muscles complain. But if you stop, your muscles never grow. It is the same with English. The first minutes of listening feel painful. The first attempts to speak feel clumsy. But if you run away every time, your English muscles stay weak. Another problem, comparison. You hear a classmate speak fast, or you see a YouTube teacher smiling with perfect grammar. And you think, I will never be like that. But what you don't see are the hundreds of mistakes that person made in private, the many nights they wanted to give up. You only see the result, never the struggle. In Denmark, many people speak good English. At the supermarket, the cashier can switch languages in 1 second. At the cafe, a teenager orders in English without fear. And you? You feel smaller. You feel behind. But remember, you are comparing your inside struggle to someone else's outside show. It is not fair. The truth is, practice feels impossible not because you are weak, but because your brain hates slow progress. It wants quick rewards, like chocolate or TikTok. But language learning is a long, slow walk. Step by step. Day by day. So if you feel stuck, frustrated, or hopeless, know this: your brain is simply protecting you from the hard work. It is not proof that you cannot succeed. It is proof that you are human. The Danish daily life setup. Picture a small Danish town. The houses are simple, with red bricks and white windows. Outside, bicycles rest against wooden fences. Inside one of those houses lives a family, a father, a mother, and their teenage daughter. From the outside, everything looks fine. They eat breakfast together: rye bread, cheese, maybe a boiled egg. They share the same living room, the same table, even the same silence. But something is missing. The family lives together, but they do not always feel close. The father works long hours. When he comes home, he is tired. He sits on the sofa, checks his phone, maybe turns on the TV. The mother cooks, cleans, and tries to keep everything normal. The daughter, however, lives in another world. At school, she must use English. Teachers expect her to answer in English. Friends post on social media in English. But at home, she feels she cannot talk about this. So the house is full of invisible walls. No one is fighting. No one is shouting. But there is a quiet distance, like fog in the air. They sit together, but their minds are apart. This is not just a Danish family problem. It is a human problem. Many of us believe that being in the same place means being connected. But that is not true. Sometimes the people sitting right next to you feel the farthest away, and learning English can feel the same. You can be surrounded by books, apps, or videos, but still feel no connection to the language. You are together with English, but also apart. Our story today will follow this family, how their silent distance grows, and how one small change slowly brings them closer. That change is not dramatic. It does not start with shouting or a miracle. It starts with listening, slow, clear listening, and maybe, as you hear their story, you will find your own reflection inside it. The daughters struggle with English. The daughter's name is Anna. She is 16. Every morning she rides her bicycle to school, even in the cold wind. On the surface, she looks like any Danish teenager, confident, independent, free. But inside, she carries a secret struggle. At school, English is everywhere. Her teachers ask questions in English. Anna, what do you think? Her classmates give quick answers. Some laugh, some joke, some speak with accents that sound natural. Anna, however, freezes. Her brain knows the words, but her mouth stays closed. It feels like the words are trapped in a locked box, and she cannot find the key. During group work, it gets worse. Friends switch between Danish and English with ease. Anna listens, nods, and smiles. But inside, she feels like an outsider. She wants to join, but fear stops her. What if she says something wrong? What if they laugh? What if her accent sounds strange? The question spins so fast in her head that she stays silent. At home, it is no better. She tries to tell her father about her struggles, but he is tired, distracted, always busy. Her mother listens, but she answers in short words, not really understanding the depth of Anna's fear. So Anna keeps her worries inside. Psychologists call this communication anxiety. It is when fear of mistakes becomes stronger than the desire to speak. And the more you stay silent, the bigger the fear grows. It is like a shadow that follows you everywhere. For Anna, this shadow makes her feel alone, even when she is surrounded by classmates, even when she is sitting next to her family. Living together does not erase the feeling of being apart, and maybe you know this feeling too. Maybe you have been Anna, silent in class, quiet at work, afraid at the dinner table. You want to speak, but your voice gets stuck. Anna's story is not unique. It is the story of anyone who has ever felt their heart racing when asked to speak English. But sometimes, the first step toward change comes from the simplest moment. The father's quiet distance. The father's name is Jens. He is a tall man with tired eyes. Every morning, he leaves the house early, wearing his heavy coat, carrying the weight of responsibility. He works hard at his job, numbers, meetings, decisions. By the time he comes home, the world has already drained his energy. At home, Jens is quiet. He eats dinner, he nods, he listens, but his words are few. He tells himself, I am giving my family stability. That is enough. But inside, he knows something is missing. He notices Anna's silence, of course. He sees her sit at the table, eyes down, shoulders tense. He hears the short answers, the half smiles. But Jens feels powerless. His own English is not strong, and he thinks, how can I help her? I can't even help myself. So, he hides behind silence. The house fills with unspoken words, like books left unopened on a shelf. The distance between father and daughter grows, not with arguments, but with quietness. Psychologists call this emotional withdrawal. It happens when people feel helpless, so they choose distance instead of effort. It looks calm from the outside, but inside it creates a cold emptiness. Maybe you know this too. Maybe your father, or your friend, or even you yourself have chosen silence because speaking felt too heavy. Silence feels safe, but it also builds walls. For Jens, the wall grows each day. He wants to reach his daughter, but he does not know how. He thinks that living in the same house is enough. But he is wrong. Living together without speaking is like owning a guitar and never playing it. It just collects dust, and so, every evening, the family eats dinner in the same room. Together, yet apart. Waiting for something, anything, that might break the silence. What they don't know is that the turning point will come from something small, almost invisible. A small turning point. It happens on an ordinary Tuesday evening. Nothing special, no holiday, no celebration. The family sits at the dinner table, eating potatoes and fish, a normal Danish meal. The TV is off, the room is quiet, only the sound of forks on plates. Then, something small happens. Anna's teacher has given her homework. Prepare a short presentation in English. She feels nervous, but she knows she must practice. So she gathers her courage and asks, "Can I read my English here, at dinner?" Her father looks surprised. Her mother puts down her fork. For a moment, no one speaks. Anna's cheeks turn red, and she almost takes the question back. But then Jens clears his throat and says softly, "Yes, please, try." Anna opens her notebook. Her voice shakes. The first sentence is slow, broken, almost painful. She expects laughter, or correction, or silence. Instead, she hears her father whisper, "Good, very good." It is a small sentence, but for Anna, it feels huge. For the first time, she feels her father is with her, not just near her. From that night, something begins to shift. After dinner, Jens starts asking simple questions in English, just a word or two. Anna answers, sometimes with mistakes, sometimes with confidence. Her mother joins, laughing when she mispronounces a word, but laughing with love, not judgment. This is the power of small turning points. Change does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in the shape of a shy teenage voice, or a father's quiet encouragement. Psychologists call it positive reinforcement. When even a small success is recognized, the brain feels safe to try again. It is like watering a tiny seed. Slowly, it begins to grow. For this family, the dinner table is no longer silent. It becomes a space for practice, mistakes, and laughter. They are still the same people, in the same house. But now, living together feels different, because they are finally speaking together. Learning to listen, speak, connect. The next evenings feel different. Dinner is no longer silent. Anna brings new English sentences from school, and the family listens. Sometimes the sentences are simple. My favorite color is blue. Sometimes they are harder. I think technology changes the way young people live. Her father, Jens, listens carefully. His own English is not perfect. He makes mistakes, too. But instead of hiding behind silence, he begins to try. He repeats Anna's words, slowly, with his deep voice. The mother joins in, laughing at herself when she says something wrong. The mistakes do not feel heavy anymore. They feel like little bridges connecting them. This is the secret. Learning a language is not only about grammar or vocabulary. It is about connection. When you listen to another person speak, slowly and clearly, you give them a gift. You say, "I care about your words." And when you dare to answer, even with mistakes, you give a gift back. "I want to share myself with you." Science supports this. Studies in communication show that people feel closer when they practice new skills together. Shared struggle creates trust. Shared laughter creates memory. In other words, practicing English together does not only build language, it builds family. For Anna, every dinner becomes easier. For Jens, every word spoken is a small victory over his silence. For the mother, the table feels warmer. The house is the same, but the atmosphere is new, and maybe, as you listen, you realize something. You do not need a perfect teacher. You do not need a perfect accent. What you need is someone to listen, someone to answer, someone to connect. That is how language becomes alive. So the family, once together but apart, now begins to live both together and connected, through the simple act of listening and speaking slowly, in English. Closing reflection and message. Think back to the beginning. A family living in the same house, eating at the same table, but feeling far apart. A daughter too afraid to speak. A father too tired to try. A home filled with silence, not with words. Now imagine the change. The same table, the same people, but something different, voices. Imperfect voices, slow voices, voices with mistakes, but voices full of life. English is no longer just a school subject. It is the bridge that helps them hear each other, understand each other, and finally feel close again. This story is not only about one Danish family. It is also about you. Because maybe you have felt the same, sitting next to people but feeling alone, sitting in front of English books but feeling no connection. Maybe you thought, living together is enough. Sitting with English is enough. But the truth is, it is not. Togetherness without connection is emptiness. But listening, speaking, and sharing, even with mistakes, creates real closeness. It makes English more than words. It makes it a way to live, to understand, to love. So, ask yourself, are you just living with English, or are you living in English? Are you only sitting next to the language, or are you inviting it to sit inside your daily life? The answer is up to you. Anna and her father discovered that one small moment of courage can break years of silence. Maybe tonight, you can do the same. Pick one sentence. Say it out loud. Share it with someone. Let the connection begin, because in the end, learning English is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about showing up with your voice, even when it shakes. That is the message of this story. Living together is not enough. You must listen, speak, and connect. Only then does life, and language, truly feel alive.